Okay, so today we're going to do the round 2 of the ogee granny squares for the Mystic Lantern, Janie Crow Mystic Lantern pattern. So that was what round 1 looked like, and this is what round 2 is going to look like. And in particular, I'm going to show the way that I work the yarn so that you can't see any hint of it from the front or the back. So we're going to start by making our first chain and pulling it through from the back. We will try and remove cat hair. So that's our tail. Bring it through, and we start off by chaining 2, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches into the chain space, capturing the tail. So yarn over into the chain space, capturing the tail as well, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over, back into the chain space, and do our second double crochet stitch, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, oops, and 3, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets into the same chain space, and we're going to hold the tail next to the chain so that we're capturing it when we make the stitches. So yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. We're going to make the first 2 double crochets exactly as normal. So yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then this third one we're going to do this method of carrying the yarn tail that I came up with, which I feel works really well, and I haven't seen anyone else do. So we're going to start the double crochet stitch the same as usual. Yarn over into the chain space, capturing the tail as well, yarn over and through 2. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the tail and bring it up with the current yarn, and we're going to do yarn over and through the last 2 with both pieces of wool. You see I've got 2 there. We now chain 1. Again, I'm still using both pieces of yarn like that, and then yarn over and we go into the next chain space. At this point we drop the tail, so you could make your first stitch with both pieces of yarn, but it actually works better if you don't. So you can just drop the tail, let it hang that side, and you're going to make the stitch with your active piece of yarn. So yarn over effectively through 3 and yarn over through 3. Okay, and you're going to pull the tail so that it runs next to the chain, and you're going to make your 2 more double crochet stitches as per the pattern. So yarn over into the chain space, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and another double crochet stitch into the chain space, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. I'm going to do that one again because that stitch has got a bit loose. So into the chain space, we're capturing the tail, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. That looks better. We're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. and we're going to go into the chain space and capture the tail again. We're going to work 2 normal double crochet stitches like that, and then the 3rd double crochet stitch we're going to carry the tail like we did before. It's for the last time. So yarn over, we're going to go into the chain space, yarn over through 2, and we're going to lift up the tail and over and through 2. There it is. And then yarn over through 2 for the chain, yarn both yarns over, both yarns over and into the chain space. We're going to drop the tail, so it goes that side, and we're going to bring the yarn through, yarn through 3, yarn through 3. We're going to pull the tail tight, and now we've got the tail from when we worked in the tail from round 1. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to do 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochet over the tail. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochet into the chain space. So in there, try that again. So let's try and sort ourselves out here. Give a little bit more room in there. That's better. And yarn over, into the chain space, 1, 2, and last one, yarn over, and this time we're not going to carry the tail with us, we're just going to work a normal double crochet. So what I want to show you is that way of carrying the yarn. You can't see any sign of it on the front, and if I turn over, you also can't see any sign of it on the back. I think this is a really effective and easy way of carrying the yarn, working the yarn in without having to weave in ends. And then when I come back, I can just snip those off, but I'm not going to do that now, because what I'm finding is if I snip them now, as I've worked the subsequent rounds, the ends start to work free. But I'm really interested if other people want to try this method of working in the yarn ends, and let me know how they find it, because I think it works really well for these granny squares. So now we're going to work 2 double crochets into the chain space and a 3rd double crochet. Bit more yarn. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work 3 more double crochets into the same chain space. 1, 2. I don't know whether you can hear, but there's a terrible storm going on outside. So loads of rain coming down. Chain 1 and 2, 3 double crochets into the chain space. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and finish this section by working 3 double crochets into the chain space. 1, oops, 2, 3. Actually, I'm going to do that one again because that top stitch had gone a bit loose. And I just think it's easier to redo it now than to feel like it doesn't look right later. Okay, so we've got 1 more chain space, chain 1, and we're going to work 3 double crochet stitches into that chain space. 1, 2, oops, and 3, oops, and then we're going to chain 3, oops, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets to finish off this round. So back in the same chain space, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to undo and redo that one again because again I've let that stitch get too big. There, that's our 3rd chain stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to finish off in there and slip stitch across, and then I've cut ourselves off a tail and we're going to pull the yarn through and make it tight. So I think you can see, you can't see any sign on the front of the yarn that we carried, that we worked, the yarn end that we worked in, and on the back you also get a really neat, so this was where we worked it in, but you can't tell. I really like this way of working in ends. So then the final thing is just to work in the yarn end at the end by putting the hook into the back loop of the stitches and pulling it through. So the hook goes into the back loop and the yarn comes through. The hook goes into the back loop. So I do this for a few stitches, and I try to make sure that I finish in a chain space so that the next time I'm working other stitches over the top of it, and that will just help secure the worked in yarn. So pull that in there. That one. And coming up to a chain space, so I'm going to do one more, and then for the final one I'm going to put the hook through from the back. So instead of, I've been putting the hoop through the back loop from the front, this time to finish it off I'm going to put the hook through the back loop from the back. I'm going to loop the yarn around and pull it through, and you can see that gives a really clean finish. So that is round 2, and there's young Poppy keeping a close eye. Let me know if you try it and what you think.